Hey guys, welcome to Tom and Talk with Brie and Crystal, and today we're going to talk about the parallels in the Boys of Tommen series. And we're not going to talk about all of them because there are so many, but mainly the ones that we think are quite relevant to Releasing 10 and Lizzie's story, more so around probably Joey's story. So we are going to jump in and kind of show you guys what we've picked up so far. Obviously there are a lot of parallels, but we don't have all the time to unpack those. So we're going to go through the main ones today, but just a disclaimer, some of these parallels may be triggering because they are around some of the bad scenes that we don't really want to relive in these books, but we have to tackle them to make sure we are prepared for the next one.
Yes, let's get into it. Okay, so first we have Joey and Lizzie, and I just kind of put this in here because I wanted to show how not just like other characters, but also Joey himself also views Lizzie as like very similar to him. So we have like that part where like Shannon in Releasing 10's like, you're different, you remind me of like my brother Joe, and that's like a very good thing. And then we have later in Releasing 10 where Joey's like, you remind me of someone I used to know, and she's like, who? And he's like, my younger self. So we have a direct parallel from Joey himself saying that Lizzie reminds him of her.
Yeah. From Shannon and from Joe himself, which I think kind of leads into us getting Joe being a bigger player in the next book with Lizzie and the relationship that they're forming.
Yeah. It also just like makes them, it also shows how like Joey's book could be of importance in Lizzie's book.
100%.
So going further, we just have some like snippets from the books that like show like how similar that they are. So Joey and Lizzie are always trying to like push like each like their significant other away. They're always thinking like they don't need anyone. They think that like the world would be a better place without them, like in someone else's life. So like we see like over in like on the left side of the screen, you see like Joey saying like, you need to run, you need to get away from me, Malloy. And he like talks about how like Aoife's like this great person and like how he's just like a F up, and like it's just like exactly how Lizzie views herself. And like I like put it on the side too, so you'll see on the right side of the screen what Lizzie says in like the pink over there. And she even says like, I tried to push you away when I was manic, like I'm not like this good person, like I'm gonna take him down with me, this whole type of thing. And it's the same dynamic that Joey has with Aoife.
Yeah, I think they've got that like self-destructing kind of energy, particularly when obviously Joe was on something and then Liz is manic. So they kind of, it's not consistent, but they have these feelings, and the feelings are exactly the same because the dialogue is very similar as well.
I just feel like their personalities, like, and how they cope are so similar that their relationships are also very similar because of like how they're gonna like express their feelings with their significant other. So like it makes sense to me why like Joey like wants to push Aoife away and why Liz wants to push you away. It makes sense in my mind.
I feel like as I was reading Releasing 10, I was like, you could feel like the similarities, and you're like, is this Joey? Like,
literally the whole time.
I guess the difference is we see it at such a young age for Liz because it started so young. Like, yeah. So it's, I feel like you get more of her. Like if we had Joe's early years, we probably would get more of him as well. But I think you really see it early on for her, which is like harder to deal with, I think, as well.
I mean, like there's like some direct like things like Joey, like if you look at the left side of the screen at the bottom, like it literally says like I break everything I care about and like I F it all up. And then Lizzie on the right side of the screen is like, everything I come in contact with ends up ruined. Like, so like they're like perfectly parallel.
Literally just a mirror in the middle.
Yeah, literally. And then further on, so this scene, I put this in specifically because I think it's really important for Lizzie's story and why we got what we got in the beginning of R10. Joey says his earliest memories began around his 3rd birthday. And Lizzie, we get in R10, her earliest memories being around like her at the age of 3. And then it also says that, is it Sean that doesn't? Sean. Yeah, Sean. He like can't speak yet. Like he's gonna be 3 years old. He can't even talk. And Lizzie doesn't speak. She's selective mute until she's like literally in her like 3-year-old age. Like and Joey says like that's because of all this trauma that Sean has. So like we could see for Lizzie like trauma caused her to be selective mute. So I think that's a really cool parallel because it's not in like one section, but like it's like why at that exact age? Why at that exact like so specific? And I was like, I think she did that on purpose.
Because we know Chloe loves her numbers.
She does love her numbers. She really loves the parallel.
Loves the numbers and the parallels, and just everything is intentional, okay? Like there's no doubt about it.
Yeah. And then further on, we get, what is this one? This one is basically saying that Joey couldn't tell what's real and what was synthesized. And then we also have Lizzie saying like, it was getting harder and harder to differentiate what was real and what was her imagination. So both of them have that same dynamic where like, they're not even sure what is real and what is not real. And Joey even talks about how he starts writing in a journal. And I think that's also really important too, because Lizzie starts doing that same thing, but I know she does it when she's manic, but like, that's why when she's writing, like she doesn't even know if her stories are real or they're not. Like she doesn't really know what's going on. So I think it's really, it all blends. And I think it's important to know that Joey also felt that same way, because sometimes I think his is missed just because he doesn't have the bipolar disorder. Just people think because he doesn't have like depression or anxiety, or which he probably does, but like, you know what I mean? Like because he's not diagnosed with that, he's not labeled that, like he doesn't have a mental illness, but that's not true. Addiction is a mental illness. So him and Lizzie are very, very much the same in that aspect. Like they both need treatment, they both need therapy, they both really don't have a good sense of what is real and what is not.
Exactly. I think they both cope with their like all have different coping mechanisms in the sense of how they dealt with things, how she dealt with therapy and how he dealt with therapy as well.
And I also think Joey was ready for therapy on his own. Like, I don't think he was fully doing it for Malloy. Like, I know he was that part, but I think he also knew, like, he has a baby on the way. Like, he was doing it more so he could stay sober. And I think Lizzie's treatment was a little bit different because she was doing it not for herself. She was doing it for Hugh. The whole reason of her getting help was so Hugh would be back when she got home. And, like, while we know that doesn't happen, like, the thing with treatment is, like, you can't be better unless you're doing it for you. Like, you have to heal for yourself. You can't be healing for someone else. It's never going to work.
Yeah. I think that goes down to her age as well, because
I think so too.
It was so young.
Yeah, I think so too. I think Joey was a little bit older when he went through his, like, whole treatment protocol, and Lizzie was a little bit young. So she just wasn't ready.
Yeah, I think she had enough insight to know that she needed to go in, but she didn't have the right, like...
And she needed to go. Like, I know people think that, like, her dad forced her, but he didn't force her. Like, she had that insight that she needed to go get some help. She wanted the help. She doesn't want to feel the way she does. So she needed to go to treatment. Like, the people that are on TikTok that are always, like, saying, like, she doesn't even need to be in the treatment place. Like, her dad forced her. She doesn't need to be on these meds. No, that's false. She needs all that stuff.
Yes.
Like, she needs
mental health condition. She needs treatment.
She's going to need lifelong, like, medication. She's going to need lifelong therapy. Like, she's going to need that stuff. She needs all this stuff. That's why, like, when people are like, but she got ECT, and I'm like, I don't care. Like, if it helps her, it helps her. Like, I think it's more cruel to leave a person in a state of, like, unknown and, like, in a state of limbo in their mind where they feel like they're actually going crazy. I feel like it's crueler to leave them in that state than to give them the tools that they can use that might make them live a normal life. That's just as it makes sense to me. People are, like, very scared of medication, stuff like that, and rightfully so. We should all be, like, a little bit precautious of certain things, but, like, just because someone is on a med doesn't mean that's a cruel thing to do. Just because someone gets ECT doesn't mean it's a cruel thing to do. It might be more beneficial for that person. For a person who doesn't live with bipolar disorder, maybe it would be cruel to do it to them, but it's not cruel to do it to her because she's already in a state of unknown. Like, she's miserable in her head. Her mind is her demon. So, like, for her to, like, be trapped with that, I think that's more cruel than to, like, go and get her necessary help.
Exactly. And at the end of the day, it's only improving her quality of life. If you think about how her life is, she needs something to sustain her life, to create a life where she can actually live. And she wasn't living her life at all. So
especially as she becomes an adult, I mean, she's going to need to know how to cope. Like, when she's on her own, like, and she doesn't have, like, adults looking after her and she is the adult, like, things change when you become an adult. If you don't have your mental health under control once you become an adult, things get very bad very fast. Like, she might just get shipped off to jail.
Exactly.
If there'll be
no leeway.
There's worse punishments.
If she's done something, she'll be gone. Like, like health literacy, guys. Health literacy.
And we see that with Joey. Like, he's always getting arrested and stuff like that. Like once he becomes 18, like, he's scared he's not even going to come out.
Exactly.
It's not until, like, we have, like, Johnny Five Now's dad that kind of steps in, like, kind of helps him out and, like, gets him, like, into treatment and gets him into Tommen. Because without that, he probably would have stayed in jail.
100%. And it would have gotten worse and we would have spiraled further and we would definitely
Exactly.
So that's the reality of the situation.
Yeah. And then I think this is just, what was this one? Oh, this one was Joey saying, like, being with Epha, being with her was like breathing. I didn't know I needed the air, but I knew I would die without it. And then Lizzie also makes the claim that I was under some false assumption that I could live without the boy that breathes air into my lungs when nothing had ever been more impossible. So they both feel that, like, their significant other is, like, their source of air. Like, they can breathe when they're around them, which is beautiful, but also not real. Like, you have to breathe your own air.
Which is beautiful, but toxic, but yes.
Yes. Yes.
And we are here for it, but we're also here for healing and growth and professional.
Exactly. And being
personal.
your own person.
Yeah, like, yes. But does it make you cry? Yes.
Yes. This slide was just added in because I wanted to show how I think Adele might be a bigger player. I don't have an Adele and Lizzie slide, but I do have an Adele and Joey, just because we see how Adele views herself and, like, finds herself within Joey. She really wants to, like, help him. She really understands, like, his addiction problem, which we don't really know Adele's backstory. So I don't know if Adele suffered from an addiction problem, because she does seem to know a lot about it. And if you read the snippets on the screen, I'm not gonna read them all for you, but, like, she knows right away it's drugs. She knows, like, exactly how he's feeling. He's, like, kind of, like, crazy. And, like, Joey, like, thinks he's, like, all messed up, and, like, she's like, no, like, you're not. You remind me of me. Like, you're worth it.
I love when she's, like, listing off the drugs. Like, what was it? Was it this? Was it that? Like,
literally, like,
well, she is educated.
Yeah, like, I wonder, like, was she around it? Did she go through it herself? We don't really fully understand her backstory. We know that she had a rough upbringing, but we don't really know what she went through. And we still don't really know her to this day. Like, we just know her from what we know with Joey. And I think that one snippet when, like, Lizzie is with Adele shopping with Shannon and Claire, and, like, Adele's, like, the first adult that's like, a woman needs an edge about her. Like, don't apologize for being, like, how you are. And, like, Lizzie's like, I want to keep her. Because no one's ever told her. No, everyone's always been so rude to Lizzie. So I think the Joey, Adele, Lizzie dynamic's going to be really interesting. I hope it's in the next book. I truly do. Because I think it would be so good for Lizzie to have, like, an adult figure. You know what I mean?
Yes, someone who is actually useful.
Literally.
Oh, yes. The cheating trope. Oh, the joys.
Sorry.
We lost Brie. Oh, she's back. Okay.
Back. Okay. So
did anyone else think, as the cheating trope came, I guess, let's be honest, like, the cheating trope is still all speculation, right? It's a theory, okay? Nothing's canon right now. We know that Katie is with Hugh. We know that Liz is not with Hugh currently. But we also know, well, there's implied scenes of Joey noticing things around Liz and Hugh. So that's where the cheating trope came through. And yes, there are playlists about cheating. Yes, we understand that. But did anyone else?
They're not canon.
They're not canon. Nothing's canon.
None of these snippets, other than the stuff that's written in publication, is canon. They're just speculation.
Yeah, but if we were to unpack that and look at parallels, the first thing we thought of was Epha and her situation.
So this slide specifically is strictly on Epha, on how she views cheating, and on Hugh and how he views cheating, which is really interesting because they view it the exact same way. And I think that's interesting to Epha's story because we find out later that she does kind of cheat physically, but she also is emotionally cheating throughout the book. And I think it's really important because like Epha's having this conversation with her mom, and she's like saying how like, I don't know how you can like be with a guy who's like having an affair and all this stuff. And she's like, if I loved a man and I truly loved him, like I can never handle like knowing he was with someone else. That's basically what she's saying. And then she's like, then we get to that kissing scene, and then she's like, oh my gosh, I'm just like my dad. Like we're two cheating apples from the same cheating tree. Like I'm no better than him. And then later in the book, when she kind of is with Joey and she's having that conversation with Paul, she is like, hey, like I'm not an angel. Like, yeah, I wasn't physically cheating, but like I was having an emotional affair. And I think that's why like cheating is such an interesting topic, because people always just assume cheating is physical, and that doesn't mean, that's not the same thing. Like there's emotional cheating, there's physical cheating, and cheating means something different to everyone else. Like some guys and girls don't want their significant other texting the opposite sex. That could be cheating in that relationship, but it doesn't mean it is. You know what I mean? Like everyone has a different view of cheating, but like Epha views it very similar to Hugh does, because Hugh is like absolutely against cheating. He's like, I can't be with someone who cheats. I hate infidelity. And I wonder how this will play out in the next book, because even though Epha hated the cheating, she still did cheat. And even Hugh, canonly, what we do kind of have, I mean, as canon as we can get, I mean, even at the end of our 10, like he's still thinking of Liz even though he's with Katie. So in a sense, that is an emotional cheating, in a sense. And like from playlists, like we already know
from
Katie,
like Instagram posts. If we look at that, Where's My Girl, which is technically canon if it's an Instagram post, like we've got to think like that's still emotional cheating, and that's in October. So like,
at least we have some form of cheating. It's just not physical yet.
It's just not physical,
we have an emotional cheating from Hugh on Katie, and that's the same dynamic of Epha and Paul. So I'm very interested to see how it plays out. Like, will she take it to the next level where Hugh does physically cheat? I don't know. I mean, a part of me is like, could that ruin his character? But then it also never ruined Epha's character. So like, I'm thinking that right now. You know what I mean? Like, we never cared that Epha kissed Joey. We never cared about it. Like, I'm gonna be completely honest, no one cared about Paul.
No,
and maybe that's because Paul was more of like, he was not a bad person. He
was just a side guy. He wasn't.
He's just a guy. He was just a dude. He wasn't like evil. He got into fights with his girlfriend. He called Epha names, but so did Joey. Like I feel like there's like always like that double standard, because like Joey is her like official end game. That like, oh, Joey's perfect. But, like, no, he's not. He called like Epha like all these bad names, like all the time. And so did Paul, but everyone's mad at Paul when he did it. And I think it's really interesting to see like the double standard. And then when Paul literally comes out and it's like, hey, like I also was cheating on you. This relationship, like physically, everyone's like, oh my God, what a dick. And you're like, wait, didn't Epha just do the same thing?
Yeah. So if Katie comes out and says that, we're all gonna be like, oh my God, what?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's all POV. I bet if Chloe Walsh made a Paul book and like had it from Paul's perspective, I bet people would like Paul.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like, it's all about perspective.
The only thing about cheating for Hugh is that is why Hugh and Liz ended. So that is true. That is the point of his character, that you like, and you've got it there. It's saying that if he did do that, it was the end, and that was it, and he can deal with everything else, but he can't deal with that. So it's kind of like hypocritical in the sense that if he did cheat, even on Katie, even on someone who he knows he's not in love with, whatever their situation is, like it's like going back on everything he said. I really hope it is for Liz. Like, I think that's pegging him as again another guy that's pegging two girls against each other. And again,
I agree with that. I feel like it would ruin his character a bit if he physically cheats, to be honest.
He's just hurting everybody. I think
like the emotional aspect of it, I think the emotional cheating is not that big of a deal as long as he doesn't act on his impulses. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like obviously he's going to be thinking about Liz because he had a long relationship with her. They were best friends.
Just like, end. No.
It doesn't end. Like, your feelings just don't vanish. And he only like waited a couple months before getting into a relationship with Katie. So that's not just going to vanish overnight. And you could see like from snippets that he's trying to get over Liz. So like, like he's probably a battle with himself, honestly, internally, like that he doesn't really want to feel that way for Liz, but he just can't help it. So I think his character will be ruined a little bit if he does physically do something with Liz, even if they are endgame, because like I just feel like that's not his character. He's always been raised to be a gentleman. His whole dynamic is like been like this good guy. You know what I mean? And like,
I think the only way it would be, I guess, reasonable is if it happens and he owns up to it, and then it's like goodbye.
And maybe Katie's doing the same thing like on the side. So like if they're both doing the same thing to each other, maybe I could see it working out. You know what I mean? They're both like, okay, you know what? This wasn't working. We're better friends anyway. Like, obviously you like your guy, I like my girl. Like, I could see that maybe playing out. But if it's one or the other, like I think that will kind of ruin the character.
Yeah.
Because you're right. You're right. Like, cheating is the enemy of Hugh and Liz's book. To be honest, like if you need a villain, it's cheating. That's the villain. If you know what I mean, even if Pierce wasn't there.
All the time, and I go, if Pierce wasn't in that room.
That's the thing. Like, and I think people also I'll probably add this in when we talk about Pierce too, because I know we will. But like, even when we talk about Pierce, like I know Pierce isn't a good guy because we have that choking scene, we have all that stuff, and like, what happened with Liz and Hugh's room, obviously not good. But I don't think he's in the same category as Mark, and people want to pin them very similar. And I'm like, Pierce isn't malicious like that. Like, he didn't seek out Liz. Yeah, he didn't seek out Liz. He didn't go to her house. He didn't like force her to do that. It wasn't like that. I think we also don't have Pierce's POV, so it's very interesting. Like, how drunk was he? We don't know. That's why you can't make consent when you're drunk on both parties, because we don't know his internal monologue. So like, once he sees like Liz is crying, he's like, oh, I'm gonna stop. And like maybe he truly thought he had consent. We have no idea. And I think
Stop.
it's so interesting to me though, because I always like, my thing is always getting like trying to understand like what other people are saying, especially when you don't have like their like POV, like Kiva and stuff like that too. And it's like we don't have his POV. We're never gonna have it. And I know he's a bad person. We have like, and I know he's gonna stay a bad person because we have those clips of him choking and his anger problems and stuff like that. But in that specific
And he was
scene,
a bad person prior to that. So
like we just know he was like a dickhead. You know what I mean? Like we know he was like an angry teenage boy, but I don't think he's like a predator.
No, I think he's just,
you know what I mean?
He's a stupid guy that's making stupid decisions and thinking.
I agree with you. Yeah,
like
literally, that's exactly what it was.
But I think leading up to that, like when you reread some of the Pierce interactions when they were kids, he was always stupid.
He's always like that. He's always stupid.
Always mean.
Yeah.
And I think, it's just interesting how like the night before we had that little situation where obviously she's walking home and Pierce is like talking to her like that. Why?
Yeah, it seemed weird to add that in, to be honest. It does. It seems very odd.
That like a warning?
It's like a little warning that like, oh, something's gonna happen, but like it seems very fast. Like, oh, that happened, and then, I don't know. Also, like I'm thinking about like the party, and I don't understand the party dynamic at Hugh's house, but like why is Pierce just in his room?
Why is he in his room? Yes.
That seems so weird to me. Like I would like not be okay with like a random person at my house at like a house party going into my bedroom. Like that's very like do not like, you know what I mean? It seems so strange.
Okay, we'll talk about more about Pierce when we get
we'll talk about more. And then this one's Epha and Hugh on friendship. They view friendship the same way that like each other view it. So, and it's basically just like showing how like Epha is like, all I really want is just to be like your friend. Like I'm sitting in front of you. I'm asking nothing more than just to be your friend. Like I'm never going to give up, that whole time type of thing. And it's pretty much the same thing with Hugh. Like he puts her first. He's always going to love her. He's always going to be there for her, stuff like that. Like the whole no matter what. Like we get all of that. They just view it very similar. And I'm not going to read all these snippets because you can read them yourself. But like they show how Joey and Liz and Epha and Hugh view friendship the same way. And then this is the one with Epha and Paul's relationship, so we can have context on their relationship. And this is when Epha and Joey are having a conversation, and he's like wondering why Epha is even with Paul. And he's like, do you love him? And Aoife's like, well, I have love for him. And Joey's like, well, that's not really what I asked. And like Aoife's like, I just know where I stand with Paul. Like it's not perfect, but like I know the game. Like it's safe, you know? And Joey's like, so he's your shield. And Eva was like, my shield. And like Joey's like, from getting effed over, like this is why it keeps going on. Like you stay with him because it's comfortable. And he's like, it's not going to last, because any relationship that's held together because it's comfortable isn't a relationship worth having. And I think that's very important and very foreshadowing. And it literally just talks about how like Joey's like, you should be in love with someone to the point of like it driving you absolutely mad. Like you should be head over heels. Like it should be like fireworks explosion, blah 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 blah. You know what I mean? And Joey literally is like, you have nothing in common, but it's just comfortable. So like that's just crazy. Like I think this whole conversation was put in there on purpose. I think Chloe was like, we're gonna put this in Joey's book and we're gonna see if the readers pick up on this.
Yes. Like the word shield is so specific.
Literally shield. Literal shield. Like I don't know. I think this entire scene, I've reread the scene so many times because it's so important. It's so important. It's so specific.
If that's not foreshadowing, I don't know what is.
And like Joey is like not in like the greatest, like he hasn't been through treatment and stuff yet, so like he's like pretty wise for like coming up with this, even though he like is not really sane himself.
He's not really with it, but he's always picking up on things.
And like he's never had like an actual relationship, so for him to like go out and like tell her exactly like what her relationship should be
like what love should feel like, and it's like
it's like wow, okay, you're like it's like very philosophical, like you know what I mean, like philosophical over here.
I love it.
Yeah, I love it so much. And then that kind of brings us it brings us to Hugh and Katie, because it's the same exact thing. I forgot to add the snippets in of like the shielding stuff, but it basically is saying like in our 10, like we didn't seem to have a lot in common when it came to our chosen school subjects and hobbies, but we enjoyed each other's company enough to find middle ground. She was easy to talk to. He like views her like freckles as like a relief. Like it's very calming, it's very comfortable. She's good to me. Like I think that it's just important to see the dynamic. There's the two snippets where like I think it's Hugh saying like she's my shield or whatever, and like
he's fighting with Feely, and he's saying that I tried to give her an out so many times, and she thought she was in love with me even though she wasn't, and that she was using me as a shield, like she begged me to stay, which I think like again that's not canon just yet, but
it's just interesting to use the same words.
Like it's out there for a reason. I think Chloe like specifically chooses snippets to release because she doesn't want her characters ruined. And if we had none of these snippets, and I think we thought about this the other day, I was like, imagine if we had no snippets at all, like nothing for the next book. We would be like, Hugh's cheating. Like it'd be torture. We would have no idea about Katie and Feely, to be honest.
No, we would have no idea that was like even a thing.
Have nothing. We have no idea about Dublin.
Literally.
Like it just.
I think Chloe purposely made Hugh and Katie's relationship the way she did it just to show how it's just based on comfortability.
Yeah.
It's two people that needed each other at that time. It's not romantic. It's nothing. It's not explosive. That's why when he kisses Katie, he's like, it's nice, but it wasn't Liz. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like this magical moment. Like, you don't get that, aha, like, this is the kiss I've been waiting for. Like, our first kiss was, like, perfect and it's not like that. Like, and I think she does that on purpose. Like, she's, like, she's not trying to be rude to Katie. She's, like, Katie's nice. Like, she's pretty. She's a good person. But, like, she's just not the right one for Hugh.
Yeah. And I think even as, like, when you, like, before releasing 10, like, as I was like reading all the other books, you look at Hugh and Katie and like I don't feel anything there. The characters, the way that they describe them, there's no infatuation there. There's no love, and that's coming from people like Shannon. Like, that's coming from like Johnny's Clueless, but that's coming from people like Claire. Like,
yeah, like their relationship in like the previous books, even pre R10, is like you wouldn't even know they're in a relationship unless like they told you.
Exactly.
It's like, and it's abnormal for a teenage relationship, I should say, because I know there's a lot of adult relationships that really aren't very PDA, but like for teenagers and like basically like their first relationship, I'm sorry, like they're going to be more like touchy-feely, kissing, like holding hands, like, you know what I mean? Like they're going to be like a little bit more snuggly. Like that's just how like teenagers are, because you're full of hormones. Like you're literally just going through puberty. Like you can't control it because your body doesn't allow you to.
Yeah.
So like, it doesn't make sense to me.
All he does is kiss her on the cheek. Sometimes she sits on his lap.
And, like pull him. She'll like sit on his lap, but like that's it. Like it's so awkward. I don't know.
I find it awkward. Like I feel like I find it awkward sitting next to them. Like
I feel like, yeah, that's my boyfriend. He's across the lunchroom.
And you know what? Aoife's always dancing with Katie at a party, and
that's what I'm saying. Like they're not even together at the parties. Like they're never together, like ever. It's so odd. Like a few times at Biddy's, but like it's so awkward. I'm like, I don't. How is your relationship blossoming? Like if you're like not even talking to each other.
For supposedly 2 years. Like okay.
Yeah, it doesn't. It makes no sense. It makes no sense to me. This one is Joey and Epha on like hurting. So Joey and Epha basically are saying that like, oh well, Aoife's like, you're gonna hurt me again, and Joey's like, yeah, probably, but I'm not going to mean it. Like it's not gonna be on purpose. Like, and then like Aoife's like, well, accidentally or on purpose, it hurts the same. And I think that's important. Accidentally or on purpose, it hurts just the same. Let's just repeat that one together. Because I think that's important. Because when we're inside different POVs, it can be hard to understand like why someone else is feeling the way they are, and that takes us to Hugh, like with the Pierce situation. And people are like, well, like he can't feel that way. Like it wasn't actually cheating. He can feel whatever he wants to feel. Feelings are not something we could turn on and off. They're not something we can control. You don't get to say how you feel. You know what I mean? So like I think that quote, accidentally or on purpose, it hurts just the same, being italicized in Joey and Aoife's books is very important, and that's why I added that in. But I also added a bunch of things where it's just like Joey is constantly hurting Aoife, and like he's always messing up, and like he doesn't want her to hurt. Like he doesn't want to do this to her. Like I don't want to hurt you, and like she's like, I know this. So I think it's just like a lot of back and forth where like he never purposely tries to hurt Aoife. He wants her to do.
No.
It's never intentional. It's just he doesn't have proper coping mechanisms, and this is, and unfortunately for him, drugs is his outlet. That's his way of like feeling better. So that's what he does when he's in times of stress. And then that goes into Hugh and Liz, and like Liz is the same way. Like I would never hurt you, and like he was like, well, take a freaking look at me. Like I'm miserable. I'm freaking miserable, and like rightfully so. Honestly, like I think if you have never been in a relationship with someone who has like a mental illness, I think it could be really hard to understand. But like it's horrible to like be with someone who's not taking care of themselves. It's a nightmare. And then Liz is always just saying like this was like later on, but when she like tries to touch Hugh, and he says like that's the bad touch or whatever. Like she's petrified. She's like, oh my gosh, like I don't even want to be here anymore. I did a bad thing to Hugh. Like I don't want to be here. I'm a bad person. Like she never intentionally meant to do anything harmful. And she's like, she can't even comprehend it because she's like, oh my gosh, like I hurt him. And like, even at their last conversation in R10, like she's like, I'm really sorry for not taking accountability sooner, but knowing that I hurt you is the hardest pill I ever had to swallow. Like she does not want to hurt him. Like everything is so unintentional. Like she does not want to hurt him. Like she's like, I want to die for what I did to you. Yeah. Like that's like, and her and Joey said the same thing. Like I want to die for what I did to you. And like I think that's so interesting how they both feel the same exact way to their like.
Because they hurt the person they love the most.
It's so sad. It's so sad.
So sad. Yes. Well, I guess if we just go back to the shielding like comments, you do have it here. I've just realized.
Oh, I did have it. I did put it in here. Look at me.
Ah, there we go. Okay, so if we go back to like the shielding like theory around potentially that relationship just being comfortable, if we look at Paul being the parallel to Katie, we're not saying Paul is Katie, but we're saying the relationship dynamic is very similar to what Katie came into with Hugh, knowing that when she came into with Hugh, he wasn't there. He was honest with her and with his feelings, and that he was trying to get over someone, and so was she. So they started that relationship like that, which I guess is a little bit different to Paul and Aoife. But yeah, so you've got on the left side, you've got Joey talking about Aoife and Paul being the shield, and then Paul having a discussion with Aoife about apparently it was 3 years that they were together, but she mentions that they were on and off throughout that as well, which could potentially be similar to what's happening with Hugh and Katie, or you know, is it that on and off in the sense that they were never on, they tried, and maybe moving into probably that 2005 period, they realized that they can't, and we've got snippets of like Hugh unable to give his heart to Katie, him conflicted with deepening his feelings. We also know that maybe Katie starts to develop romantic feelings for him, but then in that snippet there he also says that she may have thought she was in love with me, but she wasn't, because she was obviously in love with Feely at the time. So they're kind of just in that denial phase of their actual feelings, which stemmed into this like shielding relationship. I guess with Paul and Aoife, intimately, they didn't do a lot intimately. Hugh and Katie, very minimal PDA we've seen. Highly doubt they've done anything intimately at all, because he couldn't handle a bra snapping on the floor.
Yeah. He was like, whoa.
He was like, whoa, stop.
I'm like, whoa, Katie, wait, girl, back it up. I added in some of like those like little potential like Katie after the 90s party, stuff like that, because we do have Paul, who did physically cheat on Epha. So we don't know if that's going to be a Katie situation. Maybe we don't even find out until Katie's book. You know, like we don't know.
We have like this feeling that yes, there's potentially some infidelity vibes on Katie and Feely's side, which is just, again, speculation based on the snippets. But we also don't think it will come out until later, similar to Paul, how it didn't come out till later, like they'd actually broken up and they have a conversation about it, because we haven't quite seen a blow up from that. And we know that that would cause a shift in the friendship dynamic. Regardless if they were in, you know, a proper relationship or a shielding relationship, that's still going to cause a bit of a, you know.
I think that's important too, because like we have to remember, like Katie's book isn't next. Like it is Hugh and Liz's book. So like we're not going to fully understand Katie in the next book.
Yeah, we'll only see Hugh's point of view. And if Hugh's point of view is he thought something happened at the 90s party, he has a conversation with Katie and that's it, we won't see the rest of it until
we won't see the rest.
Side.
Exactly.
We'll just see what Hugh thinks has happened based on what he's been told or what he's seen, which will obviously stem into the decisions that he makes. But then if it's something only Katie and Feely have done, we're probably not going to see it.
Exactly.
If we think about that drive home.
Like, we're not going to get it.
We're not going to get it. All we're getting is I reckon all we're going to get is why is Feely driving your girlfriend home? And then it's going to be like the next day.
And then it's going to be the next day, literally. Because that's not their book.
That's what I mean. And it'll be like, he'll be like, oh, I have to go pick up Katie now. And you're like, why are you picking her up? She was just driving home.
She was just with Feely. It's going to be,
I'm going to flip the page and be like, I just want to know.
I'm so here for it.
Okay, moving on to Joy. So I think initially when we were unpacking parallels, the first situation we thought of, because it was so fresh in our mind, was Pierce and Liz and Danielle and Joe. And like all this.
These are like, these are all like the things that happens with Danielle and Joey specifically. And like, I don't even want to read it because it's just so sad.
But
like
know the story.
The things I'll highlight is just how like Epha couldn't even notice before, like Danielle didn't notice, but Epha could notice how Joey was not in the right state of mind. And I think that's also an important thing. Like he really wasn't there. Epha actually asked Danielle, is he okay? And she's like, oh, he's fine. And like takes him upstairs anyway. Very interesting. And then we have like the clips with like Shannon when like Joey and her talking about his like first time and stuff like that. And Shannon's like, well, it sounds like you didn't really consent, Joe. And he's like, well, like I finished, so like I must have, you know, like I did it a bunch of other times too. And she's like, that's not how it works. Like you have to consent every time. Like that's your body's physical reaction. And then we also get later on when he's in therapy, the therapist is saying the literally exact same thing. And I think Chloe Walsh puts this in there for a very important reason. I think she does it really well because she shows that not just like a female could be taken advantage of, but also a male.
Yeah, and I think that's
the same exact way.
Yeah, and that's Joe struggling to identify that that's even a thing as well, because
that's another good point.
Really accepted it. He kind of denied it.
He also doesn't view SA as something that is not violent. So like the only form of like rape that he has ever seen is violence with his father and his mother. So if it's not violent, he doesn't view it as an assault. And that's why he struggles with identifying that he was even a victim, because it wasn't that way. And I think that's like a great way to show the difference between even like Mark and Pierce stuff, because one is violent and one is not. So like one is very malicious and one is just unfortunately a really bad outcome, like, but it's not like this malicious attack. Like Danielle, for instance, like Danielle never went to jail. She never got consequences. She never got anything like that. I think that's gonna be the same thing with Pierce. And people are always like, do you think Pierce is gonna go to jail and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, I truly don't. I don't think it's gonna lead up to that. I think it's gonna be the very similar situation with Danielle. And I think it's also gonna be a very similar situation with Dee. The only reason the guards were involved with Dee is because she was an adult. But Gibbs does not rat her out. He says she was what he needed at that time. It wasn't like, he knows it was wrong. He knows it was unconsensual because he was a minor, but it was what he needed at the time. So I think the Danielle, Dee, Pierce things are just a big parallel on each other. And I don't think it's going to play out like where like they're gonna like be off or like go to prison. Like it's not gonna be like that.
I think they're gonna deal it with themselves. I think the only difference is that we don't get the actual POV of what happened in Joey's story. No. It's just they went upstairs and that was it, and then Epha finds them. So the difference is we don't actually, whereas obviously with Liz and Pierce, we were in the room with them, right? Versus like with Epha, she found him later. So it's very hard to know exactly what happened, given we were. You
just have to use your context clues to like see like that like he wasn't in the right state. Like you could see them if you read all of these. Like it's like he was not there in his physical body. He even tells that to the therapist. Like he doesn't really remember everything, and he like in the book too. Like he remembers smelling Aoife's hair and like Aoife's like, scent. He thought it was Epha for a long time because he didn't know. So like I think that's very important too. Like he truly just like really didn't know what happened to him. But I think it's important to lay out like I think Danielle made a horrible mistake, but maybe she didn't know that Joey was that messed up, and like I said, we're never gonna have her POV, you know what I mean? But like maybe she didn't know, but Epha does know because she knows Joe, you know what I mean? So it's really hard to fully understand like what happened when you're not inside every single person's head.
The main point we want to kind of pick out is the therapist says to Joe, but you weren't willing that night, and even if you were intoxicated and incapable of giving consent. Just
keep that with you.
Let's just hold that, hey?
Yep. You cannot give consent when you are under the influence
of anything.
And that brings us to Pierce and Liz. I'm not going to read all these because they're so sad. But
it's so sad. They're so triggering. If you don't want to read them,
it's like it's so triggering. So little trigger warning. But yeah, like basically it starts with Liz literally saying, "I have no memory of getting to Hugh's house." Like, but she's like in search of her boyfriend. She's trying to find her boyfriend. She's like, "Where would my boyfriend be?" His bedroom. So she goes into his bedroom, and like he's not in there. Pierce is in there. She's in and out of reality. She doesn't really know what's real, what's not. She's like, "Can you go get Hugh for me?" And then like she like thinks he's Hugh, and it's like a back and forth of like, "I want to talk to Hugh. I want my boyfriend," but like Hugh doesn't like me, and blah blah blah. It's like a back and forth thing. She's also drunk on top of all this. Like, so not only is she manic, which is like, and honestly, I don't even like want to say she's like manic here. I want to say she's almost in a psychosis. Like she's at the verge of manic becoming psychotic. Like she is not right. Like here, so like she is at like her like ends meet here. Plus on top of it, she drank a like half bottle of like whiskey or something. Like so like she is messed up. She to be honest, I'm surprised she remembers anything at all when she wakes up. I'm gonna be completely honest.
Oh, she's I know I would awake. Like
yeah, like I don't think I wouldn't remember one thing. Like I know myself. Like one glass of something, I'm like I'm not remembering the next day. like so like I don't even know how she's even able to wake up the next day and like remember anything. So she's messed up. She doesn't have any ability to consent. Anyone, and I'm not gonna get too deep into this. Anyone that thinks that like Liz actually cheated, like you're just wrong. You're wrong.
Yep.
Like this is obviously some like Pierce taking advantage of Liz. Like I said, we don't have Pierce POV. We're not gonna get into it, but like we don't. From what we get with Liz, like she didn't mean to do this. Like she was just not able to consent, and unfortunately, this is what happens.
Mm-hmm. And we know it's going to come out. We know the truth will come out, and he will find out. And we definitely think that's why he's sick in the next book. But even if you reflect back on like when they were kids, and I thought this was really interesting reading the spin the bottle snippet with Pierce, is that he's like pressuring Liz to play. Okay, he's like, "Come play, let's play." She's like, "I don't want to play." Okay, and he wants a shift. He wants a kiss. He's like, "No, she's not playing." He's like, "No, I want you to play, right?" And she literally says, "No, what part of italicized I'm not playing did you not understand? Are you so dull of comprehension that I have to repeat myself?" Or did you catch it this time? Because how many times did she repeat for Hugh, and how many times did she think it was Hugh? So just want to leave that there, because honestly I read that back and I was like just crying in the corner. Like
Chloe puts everything in there very intentionally.
Exactly. So yeah, it's all going to come out, but I think people just need to probably
I think you have to really read the words. To be honest, I know a lot of people don't want to reread the book because of how dark it is, and I totally understand that, so protect your mental health. But when you read a book for the first time, you don't know what to look for. So the only way to like fully go back and critically think and comprehend the book that you just read is to reread it. That's why people reread, because you miss things. I'll read a snippet and I will like read the whole thing, and then I'll read it again. I'll be like, wait a second, I just missed that word, and like it'll change the whole dynamic of the entire thing.
And it's your emotion as you're reading it. And if you were reading like already emotionally reactive to the scene prior, or let's be honest, we were all spiraling from the wood scene, right? So we were all heightened from that point. That your initial response to reading this is going to be reactive and emotional.
It's very reactive.
And when you come back to it, like it took me like a few weeks to process this and come back to it and reread it, you really understand like the context and the subtext that's in it, and all the italicized words. Like they're italicized for a reason. People who think that Hugh knows that he took advantage of her and she was vulnerable. He knows that, yes, she was vulnerable. He does say that, but he doesn't know exactly what happened in this room that night.
No, he doesn't know it was like an actual assault. Like he knows like she's in a vulnerable state of mind.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't do that when she's in that vulnerable state of mind. And he says that Pierce shouldn't be taking advantage of her in that state of mind. But it's not in the same context of like, oh, Pierce SA'd her. Like it's not like he doesn't know that, because if he knew that, he wouldn't be allowing him to like sit at the lunch table and like, you know what I mean? Like that doesn't make sense.
He wouldn't let her it wouldn't have ended like that.
It wouldn't ended like that.
Was what he thought was happening.
And then this is Epha and Lizzie, both how they view SA. Again, not going to read this fully because it is very triggering, but after what happened with Epha and Teddy, when Teddy tries to like grape Epha, we're back at Epha's house, and like she wants to forget that moment. So she's like trying to do stuff with Joey to like gain control of a situation. So she basically is saying that like it hurts. I don't want to feel like this. Like this feeling is like killing me. Like I'm dying here. I don't want to feel this way. And Joey's like, what do you need? And she's like, kiss me back. Like show me how to forget. Like I want to forget. So she wants to change the narrative that just happened. So, and like Joey's like, don't do this. Like if you don't want this. And she's like, this is like what I want. Like what I want is for like you to make me forget. And a lot of people see the scene as like Epha taking assault on Joey, which I don't think, if you truly read this, it's not like that. Like you have to critically think. Like she was just physically and almost sexually assaulted. And now she needs to
rewrite that story.
She needs to rewrite that story to make it so that didn't happen. She needs to know that like sex, it could be a positive experience. She needs to remember how it is with Joey. And I think that's the same thing with like Lizzie, on why she was like pushing Hugh so many like times, like when they were younger, to like do things and go further, because she literally says like please make me better, like you're my medicine. Like she's like trying to rewrite the narrative. She's trying to change the narrative. Like she literally says like I belong to him, but a part of me had been stolen and I needed Hugh to put it back. So like that's how Epha feels when Teddy does that to her. She's like a part of her, like she doesn't want to feel this way. She feels miserable. She feels like she's gonna die, and that's how Lizzie's feeling. So that's why she's trying to like get Hugh to do things, and that's why Epha's trying to get Joey to do things. Whoever thinks Lizzie is like assaulting Hugh and Epha's assaulting Joe, I think you just didn't understand the dynamic, and I think you didn't go and fully comprehend the book. I think you went in very reactive and with a lot of emotion, and I think you have to go back and reread, unfortunately, these hard scenes to understand why they were doing what they were doing. I'm never going to get on board that Lizzie assaulted Hugh. I'm never going to get on board with that. I'm never going to get on board with Epha assaulting Joe. I'm just never going to get on board with that. They explain, and Chloe explains what happens. She explains why they did what they did.
Yeah, and I think when you're reading like the inner monologue of Hugh, it's very clear that like how he's feeling, how he's cognizant, he is able to consent, he's not under influence, okay, and he loves her so much that there is a reason why he didn't pull away as well. And I think when you read Liz's point of view, and even some of the snippets we have from the next book, there's one where she says, "Do you want me to stop?" There's one where she says he didn't pull away. Like. You've got to look at, like, she's putting that. I don't think it was intentional for Chloe to make you think that these were scenes with her main characters with potential essay revolving. Like it
doesn't make sense.
You think you're just overthinking a lot of the themes in this book and trying to find a fault within the plot. That's not the case. These are there for a reason. And then I think if you even compare when Liz is with Pierce later on, that's still not filling her cup. Okay, that is still not healing her or making her feel better. Like it's probably only going to be Hugh that will help rewrite that.
Like she needs a positive sexual experience.
Yeah,
and like even like she says like after the whole Pierce Lizzie situation with the potential cheating, like she literally says, "I'm so sorry, I just want to forget." And like we see that with Epha, like she's like, "Show me how to forget." And like I think that like you have to look at like the words that are being used because
just unfortunate situation.
It's very unfortunate. It really is. And then this is Joey and Lizzie on grief. They both view grief the same way. So Joey with I think this was Joey with his mom, right? Yeah. So when Joey, after his mom passes, like Epha comes in and like is like, Joey's like, "I thought it was a nightmare, like his reality." And like Epha's like, "I know you're hurting and I know you're tired, but I promise it gets better. You just gotta like hold on a little bit longer." And like it says like his eyes were full of tears, they're glazed over. He was just like looking straight through her, like he was there, but he wasn't. And then we get the same thing with like Lizzie after her sister did pass too. And Hugh is like, "You're gonna live a great life, Liz. Like it's gonna be complicated, sure, but like it's gonna be a fucking great one." And then he could see, like he even says, like even in sleep she cried for all she lost, and it broke my heart. Like you could see how they view grief the same way with a person they truly did love, even if the relationship was a little bit toxic with Liz and her sister and Joey and his mom. You could see that they at their core loved that person and how it haunted them, to be honest, once they were gone. Joey and Liz at the treatment facility, I think this is another great parallel too, because they both literally went away for long stretches of time, and they literally both were in like they could have technically even been in the same place.
I was thinking that. I was like, I wonder if they were in the same place.
Like we literally don't know, but there's a lot of important stuff in this, and we see with Joey, like he like says, "Well, the memories fade," and like it says doubtful, but they will become manageable, bearable. You'll find middle ground on what you want to rebuild your foundations. You'll learn to cope. That's why you're here, to rebuild. And I think that's going to play into Liz's story, because I think the memories will come back for her. But I think that she's going to have to learn to live with those memories and learn how to cope with those memories. And then we even get more with Joey and the therapist. And honestly, the therapist that Joey had was pretty good. So she says, "I'm looking at a young man, despite all the trauma and horror he's endured, he's continued to focus solely on recovering and returning to her." And then he hears his father's voice in his head. Another important parallel. Lizzie always hears the scary lady or the monster in her head, but Joey hears his father's voice because his father's his villain. And the therapist goes, "He's in your head again, isn't he? Your father." Very important, because someone pointed out someone is in Joey's head. No one has ever pointed out that to Liz. Like no one's ever said that to her. And then it basically talks about the way to heal, and it's like to get better, you have to go back, you have to relive everything. And then this is another part I found really, really interesting, because I think I missed it the first time around, but Joey says, "Sex was something I took when it was offered. Whatever I was offered, regardless of the consequences, if it was bad for me, I welcomed it with open arms. During therapy, they tried to tell me that this was my version of self-harm. They told me I had PTSD." Very interesting, because Joey and Liz both use sex as a way of self-harming, in a sense.
Yeah, it's distracting.
It's very distracting. While Joey tends to go more towards drugs, he does use sex in that same way. Liz is more towards her and her hypersexuality and her sex life and stuff like that, because that's all she really knows, and her cutting. So they both have two like outlets, I guess you could say, that are not positive, but they're two like unhealthy coping mechanisms that they use, and they are coping mechanisms. I want to point out that a coping mechanism does not have to be healthy. We want to encourage positive coping mechanisms, but there is negative ones, like over exercise. That is a negative coping mechanism. Overeating, stuff like that could be negative coping mechanisms. But like positive coping mechanisms, I don't know, write in a journal, like you know what I mean, like do some art therapy, like
music therapy is very
exactly
positive. Yes,
like there's things you can do, but like once it becomes like, excessive,
Katie, sing us a song.
Sing us a song, Katie. But yeah, she's gonna have to go back to the beginning to like heal properly, which I don't think she has done.
No, and I think like the point that the doctor makes around her hypersexuality in treatment is there for people to understand like why Liz is doing what she's doing. Yes, she's got trauma, but it's also related to her condition. And I think when you look at her dialogue, and she's often referred to as a slut or a whore or anything like that, and she says that she's not, like I think that's again her trying to change that, but she still doesn't believe it herself. Because she thought she's a sex addict. Like she thought there's something wrong with her because that's all she can do.
She literally like looks in the mirror and she's like, I didn't even see my face. A horse stared back at me, and she's like she doesn't even know herself.
So when people call her that or say those things, it's only instilling those fears or those thoughts in her.
Yeah.
So even though she's denying it, it's probably in her head thinking, oh yeah, I probably am because I've done these.
And I do want to point out, like, especially with the last one on the page, it says the clearer my mind became, the worse my guilt grew, because with clarity came consequences, and I was drowning in mine. Months of fluctuating moods had resulted in my world imploding around me, and the medicine flushing through my veins provided me with a glaring itinerary of proof. All I could do was do my best to work through the guilt, shame, and self-loathing. I think it's going to be really important. I think this is why she's going to end up spiraling again in the next book, is because she did not properly heal yet. Even though she went away, she didn't properly heal. She still doesn't have positive coping mechanisms. And I think when she gets those moments of clarity, and when things start coming back to her brain, like when the memories, like Joey was talking about, are becoming like more prevalent in her life, I think then she's going to spiral again, because she doesn't want those memories back. She doesn't want that to be her reality. She likes the feeling where that's not real, because she even says in R10, like, it's fine, the nightmares are fine because they're not real. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not being hurt in real life, so like I can manage it. Yeah. So like she, in a sense, kind of likes that feeling, because she doesn't want it to be her reality. When it's her reality, she's petrified. If she finds out it's her reality, she's like sick to her stomach. She's so scared. She's rightfully so. But like, I think that's why in January at the 90s party, like it said she was stabilizing and like she was doing fairly well. I think she's going to have like throughout the book moments where things start kind of coming back to her. And then obviously that she's going to probably go through more trauma, but like things are going to start coming back to her, and it's going to make her go crazy. And I think that's why she's going to like probably come off her meds again, and she's probably going to start spiraling again. And I think that's why we're going to have another kind of episode.
Yeah. I think that's why we have those unraveling playlists. They're not spiraling, they're unraveling.
Literally because she's going to unravel.
So I think that there's a really clear delineation there.
Yeah, especially after like the whole letter with Kiva and Gibbs at Winter Ball. Like you're telling me like not one single like past memory triggered anything. Like I think it's gonna trigger her probably from like that 3-week period. To be honest, it's probably gonna trigger something from that time period, and she's gonna be like literally an emotional wreck. Like she's going to, and I think that's probably gonna be like put her to the pushing over the edge type of situation. Yeah, 100%. Like she's going to be like so unbelievably.
It's gonna be the worst we've ever seen. So just prepare.
Yeah, I think it's gonna. I truly think it's gonna be the worst she's ever been.
Don't worry, because we'll be there, but it'll be the worst.
I truly think when you are face to face with like, oh my gosh, like everything I thought that was not real is real, that is going to be the rudest awakening. Because everyone has always told her like it's not real. So the fact that like it was real, and when she comes to that conclusion on her own, it's like, aha, like it was real, she's gonna be like, I can't be here anymore. Like I need to go. I need to get out of here.
Exactly. And I think if you look at the parallel of that and Gibbs, like Gibbs was masking himself. He was masking it himself. Everyone else was masking it for Lizzie. Like everyone was forcing it on Lizzie from the get-go that she was crazy and everything that she was doing wasn't real, whereas Gibbs made his own mask. Okay. So you can't compare how they're dealing with their own trauma, because one of them has no idea it's even real.
But even with that, like Gibbs and Liz do act similar in some instances. Like he does have nightmares. We see after Winter Ball, he's in that state of like where like he's almost like it's all italicized, like all the words are italicized, and he's like not really in his own head. Like he's like, wait a second, like he's like, why am I here? Like, does everyone know? Like he's almost like in the state of delusion, and like that's kind of where Lizzie lives, like in that state,
all the time.
And like
exactly
all the time. And like it talks about Gibbs like having the nightmares, but he just goes to Claire's house and sleeps in Claire's bed, and it kind of helps him out, you know, like he hasn't been able to sleep through the night. So like Liz and Gibbs both have nightmares, like, in a sense. Like it's very interesting how like two situations are almost similar but very different.
Yeah, exactly.
He does a really good job with that.
Yeah, April 5th. Oh gosh. Okay.
This is just a parallel
what happened on April 5th. But we know that Lizzie, April 5th was not a good time, and nor was it for Gibbsy.
No. This is when Kiva sees Mark and Gibbs. This is when the start of the 3 weeks happens. This is when Kiva confronts Mark. This is when Kiva finds out about Liz. It's just not, well, it's not a good scene. But yeah, it's just like, I think this is going to be important because it's like, it plays a role in both Liz's story, but also Gibbs' story, the specific date. And Gibbs literally goes to Hugh's house like after.
I do wonder if he's going to unpack that.
I wonder if he'll remember. I do. I wonder if he'll remember it, because I feel like it's very important that Gibbs went to Hugh's house. Like Hugh walks into his room and like finds Gibbs like sobbing in his bed, and like he like basically just like holds him and like it's just like are you okay, like, you know what I mean? So like I wonder if he's gonna have that like aha moment himself, like, wait a second, why was that, you know what I mean? Like was that the night that he came to my room? 100%,
like like
very
interesting, so specific, and
so
the fact Hugh as well, it was Hugh,
and it's dated, like it's so dated everywhere, like in the letter and then in the snippet, like why was it dated April 5th? Like I think it's too specific. I think it's gonna come back because
I do wonder, like I've always wondered like whether like what actually happened, like Kiva saw it, so did Gibbs see Kiva?
That's what I was wondering too. Like we don't
he says,
we don't even know like if Mark knew that Kiva saw.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's why I think there's multiple letters, because who's to say, like, people are like, oh, Eva left, like, after that happened. Like, who's to say, like, Eva didn't accidentally open a door, possibly see something that was happening, and then she, like, almost had, like, the shock moment, and she's like, I need to write this down and, like, hide this somewhere in the house, and, like, she wrote that big, long letter. Like, who's to say she didn't do that? You know what I mean? And then she leaves, she goes home, and then she's fighting with Mark. Like, we don't know what happened in, like, that stretch of time between whatever happened with Gibbs and Kiva seeing to when they get back to, like, Liz's house. We have no idea. And she doesn't even mention what she saw until she gets home. So I don't know. It's like very weird.
It's like annoying because we're not going to get it. Like,
I know
we're not going to see it.
It's
like,
all up to interpretation.
Unless we get a Kiva
I wonder
chapter.
if we'll. Unless
imagine a Kiva chapter.
I would love a Kiva chapter. To be honest,
I would
love it.
Just clear it all up.
I would love it. I would love a Kiva chapter, but people hate on Kiva, and I don't actually hate Kiva. I think Kiva's a really important character. Yeah, I mean, unless we get maybe a little bit more from Gibbs's perspective, I don't know. Maybe he like realizes like, oh, she did see something. Like, I don't know. Like, we don't even know.
Yeah,
so from what we get, like, it is assumed that like Gibbs thinks Kiva's still at the house when he went to Hugh's. So like, it's so hard to understand what did she see? What you know what I mean? Like, what did she see? Like, why didn't she do something? Because there's always a why. And then, like, how did she get back home? Like, you know what I mean? Like, the way she responded when she gets back to Liz's house and they're fighting, like, Mark doesn't leave. Like, he doesn't leave.
Yeah,
he
like
literally
following her in, and he's like trying to
explain. He follows her in, and like, yeah,
and then he like tells her everything about everything else. And
I just feel like if they were having a conversation prior, or even in the car on the way back home, like whatever the situation may be, like he wouldn't have brought her home. Yeah. He would have took her. You know what I mean? Like, if they were fighting prior, he would have took her. He wouldn't have brought her to her house. It doesn't make sense to me.
None of it makes sense, to be honest.
No, it does make sense. But yeah, I think April 4th is going to be a big thing in the next book.
Yep, and we all know that's when the letter discrepancy came out with the dates of April 5th and April 24th. So it's most likely Hugh that's picking up on all these discrepancies, because he also knows that like Liz was gone for 3 weeks and was like weird that she didn't contact him. So I think it may stem from Gibbsy and thinking about that, and then obviously the letter, being able to see the letter after Johnny gives him the letter. Yeah. But
because Hugh always found this really weird. He always found it weird. He found it weird that the letter
all of a sudden he was dead, and he's like, what? Like,
yeah, and then he was like, even the letter that she left the family didn't sound like her. Like, he always was like, this just seems strange. Like, from when it happened to like now, I feel like he always had like this weird, like, something's not right.
So we will get there at some point.
We will get there.
Then we have May 9th/10th.
So this is the fire at the Lynches, and I add the scene in because it's also the time when Joey is at the bridge, and Lizzie stops him and is like, don't turn Shannon into me, like, it's gonna haunt her forever, blah blah blah. No one was there to stop her. But yeah, and then the reason I put this also in is because May 10th back in 2000 is also when Lizzie's like having that like flashback memory of when Kiva found out about her and Mark. So like, I think that day, like the end of the 9th into the 10th, we don't really know exactly what time it is, because the bridge scene happens really late at night, so we don't know, like, it could be midnight, we don't really know. I think we're gonna get like this day as an important day because the Joey situation, but also Liz remembering about like Kiva finding out.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see what's triggered at the bridge. Like, what does she actually think about? Is it dialogue from, you know, when they're at the bridge? Like, is there more to that? Because we've only seen little bits and pieces. We haven't seen exactly what happened. But yes, Mark did off Kiva.
I don't know why that's not I still am like shocked that that's like a thing that people don't understand.
Because she knew about everything. And he probably just needed time to figure out what he was going to do. And that's why he kept them for so long. And then, you've just got that scene from May 10, which is the fight with Mark and Kiva about her finding out about Lizzie, which again I thought was weird. Like, he just starts telling her everything. Like,
that's what I'm saying. Like, it's so weird. It's so
own up to everything, and then
like,
I'm gonna fuck you anyways.
Like, to be honest, like, wouldn't you just like keep like just like be very like vague if you were gonna say what happened? I don't know.
Like, did he was so delusionally in love with Kiva that he had like, I just don't get it.
Yeah, I don't really know.
It was weird.
It's so strange.
It's so, when you read it, you're like, why? What?
It's like if you knew you did something bad, like, wouldn't you try to like, even like when you're caught, like, I don't know, and you're a narcissist,
own up to what you were seeing, but not everything else. When you're a
that's what I'm saying.
killer,
why are you owning up to everything?
All your kills.
Yeah, like, you're just gonna own up to every single bad thing you've ever like. No, that's not like what people do.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. Especially,
but it sounds like they were having this conversation coming up. Like, do you know what I mean? And then so it's like, what else was said? Like,
I don't know. I know. I wish we could get it all, but at the same time, I kind of like how it's open to interpretation.
And then we have October 31st, which, if you all know, our theory on October 31st is that is the first time for Hugh, and we are dying on this hill.
Yep.
And I think if we just reflect on everything we've said so far, we talk about getting rid of the bad memories and creating new memories, and we all know the bad memory was in Liz and Pierce in Hugh's bed on his birthday. Yep. So if we fast forward and try and rewrite that for both of their stories, because it's for both of them, not just Hugh, but for both of them, it just makes more sense as a healing moment for that to be the time that Liz takes his virginity, which we know obviously in these snippets that is what is going to happen. And then we know the next, following on the Monday, he is unwell and he is pulling away from Katie. I think that's...
And it's also just a parallel because they wanted to do this on his 16th. So I think it'd be like a cool parallel to see it on the 18th. And then we do have that snippet with Joey and Epha where like Aoife's like, I want to put a good memory on like this house. Because they do it. Yeah.
So I think
that's another parallel. A little bit of foreshadowing.
The first to second, just a parallel of Hugh being sick or unwell. He was sick post the whole Pierce thing, like physically sick, vomiting and everything. And now we know he's also unwell that kind of first, 2nd of November when he's seen at school and he's unwell, pulling away from Katie. Claire's very concerned. He says he's in trouble to Gibbs. I'm just like, the Joey Lynch kind. No, it's not drugs. He says he can't talk about it. He's actually so miserable. When Claire and Gibbs are getting together and Gibbs wants to talk about it, he's like, he's just like broken. He's completely depressed. And we just kind of think like he's literally drowning in regret over Liz. Like, it just makes sense for it to be a parallel of the truth coming out of the reason why he ended his relationship with the love of his life.
I agree.
Oh,
I don't think it has. Yeah, I truly don't think it has much to do with Mark. I think it's really the pure stuff coming out.
Yeah. Probably like he's kind of like he's thinking about Mark as well, but he's.
I just think that's like a separate situation. Like I truly think like that is like it's like if you have 2 doors, like Mark is one door.
Yeah,
the other
it's
door.
all
And,
going to come out at the same time. It's got to like scaffold.
Yeah, and like the Mark stuff's like, not going to be like I don't know. I just feel like this is like the moment. Like the only way for them to heal their relationship has nothing to do with Mark. Like it has like Mark doesn't correspond to like their relationship. Pierce does. So like for the Pierce stuff to come out, that would make more sense on how we get Liz and Hugh back together.
Yeah.
Like Pierce has to be solved in order for them to like get their happily ever after.
Yeah.
Mark doesn't have to be solved for them to get happily ever after. You know what I mean? Like Mark is a different set category.
Yeah. So and we don't see a lot of Pierce after this anyways. We literally see him once in December when he's walking in the hall. He's not even with them. So it's pretty clear that something's happened between them post this as well. So it just kind of all points there. And then obviously we'll get to Winter Ball, which would then be more of an unraveling around Mark. Yeah. And then we've got 2 sad quotes. The parallels are just wild.
The parallel, like I literally saw this and I was like sad for days.
Cry.
I'll be seeing you, Malloy, and then he was gone no matter what, and then she was gone. Are you kidding me?
Stop it.
Like, are you actually kidding me?
I'm so triggered.
I'm so triggered. Like, it's so sad. It's literally
Chloe
so
just breaking our hearts all over again.
I could cry looking at it. Like, it's so sad.
Stop it. But yeah, so I mean,
when I found this, I was like, I can't. Like, I literally can't look at this. I'm so done with this book. I don't want to think about it anymore. I'm so upset.
Just crying in a corner.
Literally.
But I mean, if you want to find more parallels, definitely read Joey's books because they are literally a replica. With...
I think they're just like reversed, to be honest. Like, I think like R6 is going to be more like R10, and then S6 is going to be more like CT10.
Yeah. True.
You know what I mean? Like, I think it's going to be like kind of flip flopped.
Yeah. And Joey's in like C10, like just hanging out, being like the little wise.
I love it. I can't wait for more Joey scenes, to be honest.
So I think Joey will help kind of lean and decide what happens.
Joey's like my favorite. He's the best.
And that is all.
There's so many more like parallels. Like, there truly is so many. I was going through the books and I was like, I'm never gonna end this PowerPoint. Like, I truly am never gonna end it if I keep going.
No.
So I had to like find like a way to stop it.
Yeah. And like what's interesting is like you can find like snippets and stuff, and you literally like think of something and go, I know what this is parallel to, and you
yes,
go find it in the
literally.
book, like, oh my god. And I'm like, I thrive off that. I'm like, look at that.
Yeah, I love it. I'm like, I've seen this before.
Yeah. So like that is like our thought process. Like when a Spotify playlist comes out, firstly we look at the song and we're like, oh, song, right? Because that's like in our brains, we've seen it. And then we look at like the POV and we're like, okay, like the keywords, and then we think of parallels. Like it's a full process.
It's such a process.
Yeah.
We literally have like a whole like science to it at this point.
Yeah. I mean, we could do a PhD on boys.
I literally could write a thesis on this. Like it's actually insane.
But yeah, so there are parallels, guys. There's obviously so many more, but we don't have all the time in the world to go through them. But they're like the main ones we wanted to point out. If you have any other ones that you picked up, let us know. And make sure you are following us on TikTok and Instagram. But yeah, so thanks for watching.
Yeah, it was fun.
Okay, bye.
Bye.